Hello again, everyone. This is Brooke. I'm the founder of the Santa Barbara Blockchain Institute. Our mission is to bring Bitcoin and blockchain lessons to everyone. We've been going along with our series of 10 videos with lessons, individual lessons about elements of blockchains and of Bitcoin. And we're up to lecture number 8 here, lesson number 8, and it's about blockchains in the business world. Before I go on with that, of course, I need to go through my disclosures as usual. And please know I'm not a financial advisor. This is not investment advice. This is purely informational and educational material. I am also not a programmer. I'm not going to go deep into the weeds on this, but I'm trying to present some easy to understand concepts to your everyday person here. I do personally hold digital assets, so I have skin in the game. What we're going to talk about today is blockchains in the business world. And make no mistake, blockchain technology is being adopted in the business world behind the scenes by our large corporations every day. Every day I read a new report or see a new study or a news release about a company in some fashion adopting blockchain technology. It is happening. Much of it is out of the mainstream media, so you may not be aware. There's no question in many business leaders' minds that the benefits of decentralized control, of transparency, of the immutability of ledger, and of the microization of processes, that these are quite clearly business assets that they need to look at investing time and money to develop farther in their own operations. It's evident to the business world. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to run you through some of these quick uses for the technology in general and show you a few things that companies have put out. And then I'll wrap that up with a short little list of use cases and purposes for blockchains and businesses that I came up with. And we will end with a couple of closing notes. So, we talked earlier about vertical versus horizontal management and how there is a place for blockchains in this business world, even though much of it is follows a vertical management structure with a CEO in charge, a board of directors, and so forth. That is very necessary for companies to have vision, to have guidance, to have agility, to be able to move to adapt to new situations. So no question that the vertical management is with us to stay. However, this other newer piece of horizontal management where we have collaboration, we have cooperation on transparent processes that can really speed things up and save people a lot of time. There's no question that's going to be integrated even into companies that believe in vertical management. And so that's one of the things I want to talk about today. I'm going to start out with explaining about some things that happen in our real world right now that are clearly evidences of things that don't work that well. And anytime something doesn't work that well, there's probably a human out there trying to improve it or make it faster or make it work better. When things irk us and get under our skin, we seek to change them. And so here's a couple of examples in our existing world of what things that are annoying us that may be changed by introducing some blockchain. So first of all, bank deposit holds. Have you ever taken a check you know to be good to the bank and be told that they've got to hold it for 7 days until you can have access to the funds? Totally annoying. Now, I came from a world where I'm a real estate professional, and I know that my check, which actually comes from the escrow company, is going to clear because that's the whole point of the escrow company and the traditional finance world. That's their reason for being. They are there to make sure the money is there, the property is proper, everybody is who they say they are, and so forth. So it's very annoying when I take a check from an escrow company to a bank and I'm told that they need to put a 7-day hold on it. That makes no sense to me. It's within their same system that now somebody is making money on this money. The thing that worries me almost more is that if I really kick up a fuss and complain about it, well, the bank manager just can release the hold. What what did that mean about the hold to begin with? So there is an area in which can definitely be work a little more smoothly and to the benefit of the individual consumer. We know very well about remitting money overseas. There's a company in the Pacific Islands that their GDP of the entire country would go up by double digits if their citizens didn't have to pay that huge 20% fee to Western Union to remit money back to their home country. They would be making so much more money. It would really be material. We all know that you have to wait and it costs time and money to use our ancient wire systems to transfer money around, and the cost is also prohibitive to some people. So money would move around our system a lot more quickly and in much smaller amounts if it wasn't so time consuming and so expensive. So there's another obvious use case for these blockchains. The other thing that I wanted to bring up was about opacity. Do you know how your credit score works exactly? I know mine goes up and down, and I'm told why. I mean, often it doesn't make any sense to me at all. Who's in charge of monitoring this element of my life that does affect me when I go to, say, make a purchase or something? It's very opaque, and that's the type of thing that, were we to have more ownership over our own assets, over our own scores, we might feel a lot better about the system. Medical records also, how do medical records get shared? How does the insurance industry go about negotiating prices with these insurers? And how do the hospitals and the doctors end up sharing the records exactly? It's all very, very opaque to the average person like me. And I sure would like more control over my medical records and be able to share elements of my identity with the people who I deem to really need them. And so self-control of things like my assets, self-control over my identity is something that I would really like. And I think that demonstrates a clear use case there. Lastly, again, back to sort of the real estate world, an example of ledgers that just really don't perform. We keep records of properties over time, and we know this is a chain of title in the real estate world. Now, almost everybody who closes on a property has had to do this. They've had to pay title insurance, either the buyer or the seller or both share it, because we don't know if that ledger, that chain of title, is actually correct or not. Did some clerk miswrite an APN number in some back office? Is there any doubt about the ownership of that property? So because we can't trust those ledgers, everybody ends up paying title insurance just in case the ledger's wrong. That's not something that happens on blockchain. The ledgers just aren't wrong like that. So because they are cooperatively and they are verified by a large number of people, and that happens before it gets recorded. So these are some areas that really could benefit from using this type of blockchain cooperative technology. Like I said, I'm going to run through some examples here, and these are some negative ones first, and then I'll show you some positive ones about uses of blockchain or need for blockchains in the business world. A coding error, just a simple coding error, caused millions of inaccurate credit scores. We know that our information is lost and passed around and stolen all the time. Blockchains would help with that security. A missing security fix could have avoided the problems. JP Morgan had a data breach. Apparently it occurred because of a single security fix that wasn't applied to a single system. We have a recognized need for internet security here. Cyber attacks are a near constant threat. About every 10 seconds there's another cyber attack. So no question, in the business world there's a need for better security on the internet. What are the things that blockchain and decentralized protocols do well? They protect things very well. They protect currencies against inflation and bad management, bad governments. They reduce transaction fees, get rid of intermediaries, save time. They enable us to do deals and transactions peer-to-peer, individual to individual, without interference of third parties. They allow secure and divisible ownership of both tangible and intangible goods, such as the NFT art world. They help you protect your identity, your records of existence, your citizenship, your rights, and they can protect your records of ownership, as I mentioned, with titles of real estate property. They can also help protect your work product in real time. Your business records, the accounting department may be a thing of the past. Auditors, if the business records are in real time verified by the multiple parties who need to access them, well, you may not need to have to go back and check everything over and over, and you can conduct your business, your hold your books in real time instead of this monthly close business and annual closing of the books, as I experienced in auditing departments and in accounting departments. Also, I mentioned the art world, protecting art products. So that right-click, copy-paste thing that we've had with the internet for 30 years, artists have had a terrible time protecting their rights, and now we have ways to identify what is an original and what is a copy. So that's huge too. So just running through some of these other headliners, sort of here are 50 plus blockchain real world use cases. And I know these are small to read on the screen, but I'm just sort of rushing through these to show you that there are a plethora of different activities that we might find. Here's another company that's put out industry use cases in banking and services, in energy and fintech, in automotive and logistics, in education, science, research, healthcare, insurance, security, entertainment. A lot of work is being done in a lot of these areas to see how does this technology help us. The characteristics of blockchain appeal to many business needs, enabling smart contracts and so forth. Again, I'm just showing you a bunch of things quickly here, and then I'll sort of summarize at the end. Here's Deloitte. Deloitte is one of the larger accounting firms, and again, they put out information. What can crypto do for your company? And there are a lot of positive benefits that they highlight to their clients as one of the largest accounting firms on earth. So, to the business world, in a nutshell, what might they expect? Among other things that we have yet to discover, and this is by no means an inclusive list, it's just one that I came up with quickly. An increased customer base. You can reach more people with a permissionless system that anybody finds easy to join, with easily verified and trusted identities. Things get a lot easier to increase your customer base. You have access to new capital sources. If somebody wants to contribute a very, very small amount to your business, that may be doable, whereas in the past it's prohibitively expensive, or you wouldn't simply be able to reach them. So access to new capital. Improving honesty with decentralized monitoring and management. You get the problem of a bad actor or a disingenuous manager or hiding things on the books of a larger company. When there's transparency and when there is a decentralized style of management, you can do away with a lot of this sort of these human weaknesses in a larger organization. You can eliminate middlemen in a lot of ways, not just exterior to your company, but also within your company, having to pass through various departments if there's greater transparency and visualization amongst other departments. Secure financial transactions are huge, of course, with all of these hacks and all of this loss of data that we see happening constantly on the internet. Being able to guarantee secure financial transactions, improving your audit capability with real-time monitoring. And again, remember that vision of the blockchain network with all of the watchers on the outside watching all the transactions. Those could be different people, those could be different departments, those could be different companies. The idea of transparency providing a lot of the sort of real-time monitoring would be a huge benefit for many businesses. The self-executing smart contracts I mentioned is another thing that businesses could come to rely much more on, and that would eliminate a lot of the human personnel cost if you've got contracts executing themselves without the need for some of these specialists like your accountants and your lawyers. And lastly, the idea of micro-metering, micro-monetization, to be able to deal with very, very small quantities. A lot of people on Earth have just a little, and to put them into the right increment, to be able to use small enough increments so that you can expand your reach, to be able to monitor things, to be able to carve a big building into 1 million pieces of ownership. These are things that we might find extraordinarily useful to our ways of doing business and our business technologies. So, along with these ideas about blockchains in general, there are also different types of blockchains we could consider. There are federated types of blockchains that could be set up where, again, there's a federation of chains that are able to communicate with each other, or nodes that are able to communicate to each other in certain styles or makeups. there is an entirely open blockchain where everybody can see everything along the lines of the illustrations I showed you before with Bitcoin. There are permissioned blockchains where only certain parties can see certain information, or even time locked parties can see information at certain amounts of time as it moves through the business process. And then lastly, there are hybrid versions of blockchains that we are yet to develop that maybe combine several or all of these other types of structures. So really there are a lot of different possibilities out there for blockchains. Now business media, the folks who do the reporting on businesses, they understand this is coming. And there are plenty of stories on all of the different medias here. You've got Fox and Bloomberg and The Economist, all with their various headline stories about how business leaders are seeing blockchain in their future, the promise of the blockchain technology. So business media is also on board because they have their ear to the ground and they see these changes happening in our businesses. So the business world definitely sees blockchain technology coming. There are excellent use cases and there are bad ones, as always. And like I said in the last lecture, number 7, we really need to work our way through what are good use cases, what are bad use cases, what is good engineering, what is bad, what is good management, what is bad management. There are ethical and unethical players, and there always will be. But this technology may allow us ways to sort through that. And really, the future is unlimited as we bring this transformational technology into the business world. So that's a super exciting and growing area. So the next lecture that I will bring to you is about resistance to Bitcoin. Of course, resistance is going to be an ongoing issue. People have many reasons to oppose Bitcoin, and we'll cover that in the next lesson, number 9. Thanks for watching.